Whoa, the time has come. I'm so excited. Tonight is the premiere. I'm getting an early premiere, March 1st, and I'm going to see Matt Reeves' The Batman. I've been looking for that. I mean, we've all been looking forward to this. Even if you're not a big Batman fan, you're probably pretty excited about this. I think it's going to be a really good adaptation, something we haven't seen before because it's Batman, in his second year of being Batman. So he's, relatively new. He's still figuring out who he is and, the Bruce Wayne character, who that character is because, they're two different characters. The struggle that he has of, being a billionaire, his parents dying, being raised with that pressure, and then now he's discovering, who he is as the Batman. So just a lot to unpack. But before I see that movie, I did want to rank my top Batman flicks. And I'm only doing live action. The reason being is because the animated series and all the movies like Mask of the Phantasm and just some great Batman, like even some of the newer ones that came out, all the animated films, they're all great. They deserve their own ranking. I'm just going to do live action. Let's start with number 10, Adam West. Listen, I'm a fan. I saw this when I was a kid. Of course, I'm only in my mid 30s, so I didn't grow up watching this, but he was the first introduction that I saw as Batman, believe it or not. I do love the version. It's super campy. It's typical comic book, so it's not, you can't hate on it for it because the first adaptation is from the comics, right? Like this was it. They saw the comics, the kapow, the whammy, all that campy stuff that you see in the comics. That's how Batman first originally was. It wasn't until later on that it got darker that we know now. Not even just the live action, just the comics in general. So I don't hate it, but you know, it's got to be at the bottom of the list. Of course, there's just so many great movies. Number 9,
That my condition has left me cold to your pleas of mercy.
Batman and Robin. Fuck. I don't even want to rank this one. It's so bad. Not only is it just a bad adaptation of the campy version of Batman, but it's interesting because they decided to go that route. And of course, we'll get to Batman 3, Batman Forever. But Batman and Robin, they continued on that trend of the campiness, even coming off of Tim Burton's success. So it's interesting that they went this route, which is the total opposite, and it's supposed to be a sequel. It wasn't a reboot. It just didn't make any sense. The whole Batgirl tying that in as well, and Schwarzenegger, one of the worst Batman movies ever. And then, of course, number 8, coming close to that, is Batman Forever.
Can I persuade you to take a sandwich with you, sir?
I'll get drive-through.
I didn't hate Val Kilmer as Batman. In the very beginning, if you watch the opening credits, he hops in the god awful Batmobile, but at least he hopped into it and he had the original Tim Burton suit. It looked like it wasn't until later on that they quote unquote upgraded it when he started hanging out with Boy Wonder. But originally, he looked good. I thought he was a very believable Bruce Wayne. I didn't like the fact, again, this is coming directly off. This is Batman Forever, so this is coming directly off Batman Returns, just a couple years later, where Michael Keaton and Tim Burton, I guess, had a conflict with Warner Brothers and they didn't want to continue on. Warner Brothers want to go a different direction, so they decided to do this. So it was a sequel, like it was a direct sequel to Batman Returns. And Bruce Wayne, we're just all supposed to think that he didn't have his black hair. At least some sequels, they kind of play it off a little bit. Val Kilmer and Michael Keaton look nothing alike. Different hairstyles, like they could have made it kind of similar and believable. Because I enjoyed Val Kilmer as Batman. It wasn't as campy, but it started to get kind of campy, right? It lost the dark Tim Burton feel, and that was the best part about Batman. Number 7, Batman Returns. Now this was really hard for me, believe it or not, because there's some really great movies that I'm ranking here. And it was hard for me to put that because I love Batman Returns. I watch it every Christmas. Yes, it's a Christmas movie. And I just really enjoy it. Again, it's the sequel to one of my favorite Batman movies of all time, which is the 1989 Batman with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson. So this is the sequel, right? So this ranks high for me. But unfortunately, there's just so many other great Batman movies that it's hard to put this on in my top 5. So it comes in at number 7, respectively. Number 6, Batman v Superman. I'm probably going to get hate for this. And the more and more I talk about it, I probably should have switched these because Batman Returns to be in the slot. But I really enjoyed Batman vs Superman. But I'm a huge Zack Snyder fan. Huge. I loved Man of Steel. I loved what he did with that whole universe. Very disappointing how it kind of all ended because I think he deserves more movies. That's a totally different conversation. But with that said, Batman v Superman, I thought did a great job introducing Batman in a gritty way, not an origin way where, we didn't necessarily see, even though we saw flashbacks, but we didn't see a lot of flashbacks of Bruce Wayne growing up. We know his family was murdered. We get it, yada, yada, yada. But Zack Snyder's very great in translating that story in this film, specifically in the beginning of the credits, right? He kind of does all that in the beginning credits of Batman vs Superman, so you don't really necessarily have to sit for an hour and know that Bruce Wayne's origin story. Like, no one gives a shit. We want to get to the action. And furthermore, the action scene in the warehouse is probably one of the best adaptations of Batman fighting that we will ever see in at least the next decade. I don't know how Robert Pattinson is from the trailers. It looks fantastic, but I just love the Frank Miller gritty Batman fighting like he's 20 years in being Batman. He's pissed off. He has no remorse. Like, I just loved Ben Affleck's character. I thought he was an incredible Batman. You have to appreciate the whole Zack Snyder world, right, in order to do it. You can't just go in, watching Batman vs Superman. But I thought it was a very challenging movie to make, and I thought he did a good job. Could it be better? Sure, I think so, but I think he did a really good job for what he was able to do. And that brings me to number 5, Zack Snyder's Justice League, the brand new one that just came out in 2021, HBO Max. This is not Josh Whedon. I didn't even put that garbage on here, in case you wanted to know. That 2017 Justice League version does not even belong in any Batman rankings or any DC rankings. Get that out of the fucking vault. You got to appreciate the world, but he just did an incredible job. And the reason I rank this as a Batman film is because, Ben Affleck's Batman kind of brings all these characters together. They're able to kind of be part of the DCEU because of Bruce Wayne, bringing everybody into the world and creating the Justice League. And I think it's important to exercise this movie as a great Batman film. There's some really great Batman scenes in it. And then, of course, Ben Affleck forming the Justice League is awesome. I think it was just a great movie. A huge step up, naturally, from Josh Whedon's take in 2017, which was pure trash. Number 4, Dark Knight Rises.
When Gotham is ashes, you have my permission to die.
The epic conclusion to Christopher Nolan's trilogy. So much could be said about this trilogy, but just The Dark Knight Rises in particular, they were dealing with a lot, adding this third movie, especially after Heath Ledger's death before the premiere of The Dark Knight. But, this was a challenge, right? Because I'm sure Christopher Nolan had different plans for the Joker. So he included Bane, which I thought was really great, especially because we saw Bane in Batman vs. Robin. And that was just that old campy yellow juice, fucking steroid style. I love how he didn't do that. He did more of a real take and, tying in Ra's al Ghul to it at the end. Just a great story. And overall, just kind of a tipping the hat to the Batman character and how, anybody could be Batman and passing the mantle on. And it was just a great way to end that trilogy. Number 3, Batman Begins.
He's here. Who? The Batman.
So now we go back, right, to the beginning of Christopher Nolan's trilogy. This was a reboot. You got to remember, it was, I think, almost 10 years, I want to say. Might have been less. But 10 years since the last Batman and Robin film. So this was kind of really not a whole lot of expectations. The trailer, rather, when they saw it was coming out, they're like, it's going to be another garbage Batman movie. This was an entirely new reboot. It was just gritty, dark, like how Batman should be. But then the origin story, I really love this. The fact that they tied in Ra's al Ghul to it again, it's just a great character and an underrated character. But I love the training aspect, tying in the fear of it and, conquering his fear. It's just, again, the story, the writing is just, you gotta love it. It's such a great film. Forget the comic book style. It was just a great film overall. Christopher Nolan's just a genius, and he relaunched rather the DC universe, I would say, with these films. Number two. So again, this is number two, and I'm almost 40. I'm telling you, you might hate this if you're younger, but it's fact. Number two, Batman.
Wait till they get a load of me.
1989, absolute fucking classic. Jack Nicholson, the first time since the 60s portraying the Joker in a live action movie, crushed it, set the bar super high for anybody else that comes into it. He just did an unbelievable job as the Joker. Michael Keaton, I love him as the Batman. He is my Batman. I can't wait that we're going to see him in more adaptations of the character in The Flash and potentially more from what I hear with HBO Max doing Batgirl. He's doing a couple scenes there. So I'm just really excited about being in this world again with Michael Keaton because he is my Batman. He is my favorite Batman. Just everything you want from a character. And this obviously started, right? This launched the DC into live action with the Batman. And Michael Keaton just did a great job. And it's one of my favorite movies. Number one, the creme de la creme. You all know what I'm going to say. The Dark Knight.
Never start with the head. The victim gets all fuzzy. He can't feel the neck.
This by far is probably my favorite. I've watched this countless times. Not only is it just, again, a great movie overall with Christopher Nolan, but you kind of look at like the arc of the character. And Batman really is like at his peak here, right? And that's what's kind of great about it. Batman Begins, he's kind of learning it. Dark Knight Rises. Of course, we all know what happens there with Bane breaking him and him kind of getting rebooted himself, so to speak. But at the Dark Knight, he's at his peak. He's kicking ass. He's taking names. He's working with Commissioner Gordon. He's working with Commissioner Gordon, and he's at the peak of Batman. He is the man, and the Joker, Heath Ledger's character, just brings him down a peg. And that's what's kind of cool about it, is it really tests him and challenges him. And he doesn't understand the Joker at first. That's the epitome of Joker and Batman's relationship, where the yin and the yang, the black and the white, they are kind of like the perfect relationship when it comes to hero and villain. Heath Ledger, of course, winning an Oscar. He wasn't alive for the premiere, and that sucks because Heath Ledger is just a great actor all around, but his performance here, unmatched. I think it's hard to really to match this. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix did a great job, of course, but man, Heath Ledger he nailed it. But that's it. There's the top 10. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Again, depending on your age, it's like the LeBron versus Michael Jordan debate. If you're in your 30s, you're probably like Michael Jordan. Same thing with Batman films. And that's what's kind of interesting about it, is I wanted to put this out because right when I see the new Batman film with Robert Pattinson, I'm probably going to have to redo these rankings because I keep hearing that it is going to be the best Batman film. So we'll see. I'm suspect. But I'm excited to see it. I can't wait. I'll let you guys know. Check out a new video coming soon with my review of the Batman. But thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Check it out. Peace.